Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to cut through the noise and get to the heart of things that, well, really matter. You hear it all the time, right? Stay safe. From when you were a kid to safety briefings at work. And it's good advice. We try. We childproof. We buckle up. We put a lot of effort into making things safer. But the truth is, there's always that element of the unknown, isn't there? So today, our mission is to really dig into something practical, something vital, especially if you love the outdoors, specifically hunting. We're going to pull out the most important nuggets from an article on the AHLA blog, that's the American Hunting Lease Association. It's called Hunting Accidents That Could Happen on Hunting Land and How to Prevent Them. So whether you own land, guide hunts, or you're a hunter yourself, this deep dive is definitely for you.
It really is worth digging into because, honestly, hunting has become, well, a lot safer than people often think. You've got mandatory hunter safety courses, firearm training, plus, pretty serious legal consequences if things go wrong. And the stats show at hunting accidents, they seem to drop a little bit each year. It's kind of surprising, but yeah, you're statistically much more likely to have an accident at home or even just driving to work than out hunting.
That's actually pretty counterintuitive.
It is. But, and this is the crucial, but while things are safer, there's always that chance, something unexpected, something bad could happen. And that right there is why hunting liability insurance is just so critical. Its purpose is, well, it does a few key things. Helps anyone who gets injured, protects you from liability issues, and covers damage to property. So understanding these potential accidents isn't just academic, it's about being ready, properly prepared. And that's what we're exploring.
Okay, so with that groundwork laid, hunting is safer, but risks remain, and insurance is key. Let's pull back the curtain on the specifics. Our source lists the top 10 common accidents that still happen every year, despite everything. And crucially, it gives prevention advice, first on the list. ATV, snowmobile, and vehicle accidents. This is a big one, apparently. Not just hitting wildlife on the road, but things like losing control of a snowmobile, or ATV rollovers, which sound pretty serious. ATV issues seem common, people pushing limits, speeding, that kind of thing. The source says they're largely preventable. So what's the deeper angle here?
That's a good point because it goes beyond just knowing the traffic rules or trail rules. The real issue is often that hunter's mindset, maybe, that rush to get to the spot, or maybe being a bit too comfortable on land you think you know really well. So real prevention means disciplined awareness, even when it feels routine. It means actually wearing the gear, seatbelts, helmets, proper clothes, sticking to speed limits, whether on roads or based on trail conditions, and actively avoiding the obvious risks, driving tired, overloading the machine, heading out in really bad weather. Simple stuff, but easy to neglect.
Makes sense. Okay, number 2, hunting weapons. This is probably what most people think of first with hunting accidents. Firearms get the headlines, but the source points out bow hunting accidents happen too.
They do.
The core problems seem clear. Accidental discharge, not identifying your target properly, or not knowing what's beyond your target. Safety courses cover this, right? So why do they still happen?
It boils down to a lapse in that fundamental discipline we just talked about. Think about dropping a weapon or forgetting to use the safety or, and this is tragic, shooting at movement in the woods without 100% identifying it first.
Yeah, that's horrifying.
Or hitting someone who's further downrange beyond your target, but still in the line of fire. These are incredibly serious incidents, and unfortunately, they're more likely to end in a fatality than other types. The takeaway has to be that even veteran hunters can let their guard down. Every single time you handle that weapon, it demands complete respect and focus. No exceptions.
Okay, next up, and this one sounds grim too, falling from tree stands. You mentioned this is common and often fatal.
Yeah, disturbingly common. And yes, the outcurves are often very severe, frequently fatal.
What causes these? Misjudging trees, old stands.
All of the above. Climbing a dead tree thinking it's fine, using stands that are old, maybe rusted, or just poorly designed. But honestly, more often it's simpler. Just slipping while climbing in or out, or even nodding off once you're up there, maybe early morning.
So what's the key prevention insight here? It seems like there should be one.
There absolutely is, and the sad part is how preventable these are. The source really hammers this home. Using a hunter restraint system, a safety harness. Not just in the stand, but crucially while climbing up and down too. That alone is usually enough to save your life.
Seems like a no-brainer then.
You'd think so, but people skip it. Maybe it feels inconvenient. But those few extra minutes securing yourself, the source calls it time well spent. And they're right. It's literally life or death.
Okay, number 4 is damage to property. This applies whether you're leasing land to hunt or letting others hunt on yours, right?
Exactly. The risk is there either way.
We're talking gates, fences, maybe barns, outbuildings, even valuable trees.
Yep, all that. Anything on the property is potentially at risk if usage isn't clear.
So how do you prevent that? Beyond just, hoping people are careful.
This one's all about clarity up front. The source stresses that how the property can be used needs to be spelled out, like crystal clear in a hunting lease agreement beforehand. No gray areas. Set the rules, set the boundaries.
And insurance sells here too.
Definitely. Insurance policies are designed to help cover that kind of damage if it happens. It's that safety net if there's a dispute or an accident.
Got it. Moving to number 5, slips, trips, and falls.
Yeah.
This feels pretty universal for anyone outdoors.
Oh, yeah. Happens all the time.
Could be rough terrain, could just be, like the source says, an alfalfa field.
Doesn't take much.
Outcomes range from a sprained ankle to falling on something sharp. Or worse, falling and having your firearm go off.
That's the nightmare scenario, yeah. Hitting yourself, someone else, property. And it can happen even on ground you know well.
So the prevention. Seems obvious, watch your step, but what's the deeper point?
The insight is recognizing that familiar doesn't mean safe if your attention wanders. We're all guilty of glancing at our phones, right? Or just thinking about something else. So the prevention is simple but needs constant effort. Keep your eyes on where you're actually placing your feet. Pay attention. And for landowners, the responsibility is to point out known hazards, like slick rocks, areas with loose soil, hidden holes, old wells, active awareness, not just hoping for the best.
Right. Okay, number 6 is interesting, maybe overlooked. Physical health problems. Hunting can be tough work, physically strenuous. The example given is dragging a big buck or packing out elk quarters. That's serious exertion.
It really is. And, well, not everyone is physically up for that kind of intense effort.
So what's the insight? Just know your limits.
Pretty much, but it's also about ego, perhaps. Hunters sometimes feel they need to tough it out, push through. And the source notes that heart attacks, sadly, are somewhat common when someone pushes themselves too far. Maybe someone with underlying conditions they weren't fully aware of or just overdoing it.
Wow.
So prevention is straightforward. Listen to your body. Don't push beyond what feels right or safe. Sometimes, a successful hunt means asking for help or deciding today's not the day to haul that animal out alone. Health first.
Makes sense. Number 7, cuts. Common scenarios are field dressing and animal slippery hands, awkward angles.
Yep, classic scenario. Easy to slip.
And one slip, one moment of inattention could mean a bad cut, which, if you're deep in the backcountry,
Can become very serious very fast. Miles from help. Cuts also happen setting up camp, cooking, just using tools.
So beyond just be careful with knives, what's the practical advice?
Well, it's easy to get distracted, especially field dressing in low light or an awkward spot. So the deeper thing isn't just pay attention, but maybe having a system, like always using a sharp knife. Dull knives cause more accidents. Having a good grip. Clearing the immediate area you're working in. Always cutting away from your body and limbs. Almost making it muscle memory. Be present, yes, but back it up with solid technique.
Good advice. Okay, number 8, drowning and hypothermia. Source says these aren't super frequent, but they do happen, usually waterfowl hunting or using boats for access.
That's typically when cold weather, cold water, bulky clothing. It's a dangerous mix.
What makes it so dangerous? The cold itself.
It's the speed. Cold water just sucks the heat out of you incredibly fast, and those heavy, bulky layers get waterlogged, making it extremely hard to swim or pull yourself out. Hypothermia can set in much quicker than people realize. The insight is just deep respect for water and cold. Always wear a PFD, a life jacket, especially on cold water. Check the weather. Even falling in for a short time can become life-threatening very quickly.
Right. Number 9 feels a bit more specific. Rusty nails and barbed wire, mostly in farm or ranch areas.
Primarily, yeah. Old farms, ranches, lots of hazards left behind.
Getting tangled in old wire, snagged crossing fences, stepping on or handling old posts with rusty nails. Sounds painful.
It is, and the source calls it pretty mild if you clean it and check it soon. But mild depends on where you are, doesn't it?
Exactly my thought. A tetanus booster is one thing, but a deep puncture wound hours from anywhere.
That's a recipe for serious infection. So the deeper point is even seemingly small things can escalate when you're remote. And for landowners leasing out land, the advice is clear. Clean up these hazards beforehand. It's just responsible property management. Remove avoidable risks.
Okay, last one, number 10. Getting lost. Can happen on big properties, unfamiliar territory. You get turned around, panic sets in.
And panic leads to bad decisions, usually making you even more lost. It's a vicious cycle.
So what's the absolute first thing you should do if you realize you're lost?
Stop. Immediately. Just stop moving. Don't push on hoping you'll recognize something. The key is to override that panic, that urge to just do something. Take a breath. Assess.
And tools.
Always carry a compass and a map. Always. Know how to use them. A GPS is great. Definitely helps. But batteries die. Phones lose signal. Compass and map are reliable. Trust them. Learn to use them before you need them.
Okay, so we've covered the top 10 accidents and prevention. But accidents can still happen.
Well,
Which brings us to being prepared for the aftermath, right? First aid and survival kits.
absolutely critical. A well-stocked first aid kit, it really should be standard gear for anyone heading outdoors. It's your first line of defense. You often don't realize how vital it is until you actually need it.
Right.
And having the right stuff on hand, it can genuinely mean the difference between a minor issue and something catastrophic. It could potentially save a limb or even a life. The impact is just immeasurable.
There's a cost element too, right?
Yeah.
ER visits aren't cheap.
Not at all. The source mentions an average ER visit is over $1,100 for adults. It varies a bit by age, but it's significant. But it's not just the money. Think about the lost time, the stress, the whole ordeal. A good kit isn't just saving dollars, it's potentially preventing a small incident from turning into a major wilderness emergency.
Makes sense. What about the specific challenges of first aid in the wild? It's different than being in the city.
Hugely different. Caution, sound judgment, those are paramount. Things you could easily handle at home or near a clinic can become lethal outdoors because help is far away, conditions are rougher. So what needs to be in that kit? The source gives a good list. Basics like allergy meds and cream, antibiotic ointment, wipes, pain relievers like aspirin, different kinds of bandages, liquid, butterfly closures, regular ones, burn gel, elastic and triangle bandages for sprains or slings, shears to cut clothing, gauze pads, nonstick pads, gloves, a cold pack, saline solution for flushing wounds, a splint.
That's a pretty comprehensive medical list.
And
anything else? Survival gear.
Yeah, beyond the strictly medical, some other items are really helpful. An emergency contact list, maybe a small first aid or survival guide for reference, a reliable flashlight, a multi-tool, always useful. Paracord is another great one. Super versatile for repairs, securing things, emergency uses, and definitely include your personal medical information, allergies, conditions, medications.
Okay, wow. That's a lot to think about, but clearly essential. So let's bring this all together. We've gone through these 10 common accidents, the prevention strategies, the importance of first aid. What does it all mean for you, the listener? It really highlights, I think, a very real, practical need for hunting liability insurance. And this isn't just for one group. Like we said, if you're an outfitter, a guide, a landowner leasing out your property, or a hunter leasing land from someone else, this applies to you.
It really does. It's about this blend, isn't it? Being vigilant, paying attention, being prepared with the right gear, first aid, survival stuff, and then having that financial and legal backstop that good insurance provides. These insights, they're not just about, trying to avoid these specific 10 things, though obviously that's the goal. It's more about achieving peace of mind. Knowing you've done what you can to be safe and protect yourself and others. It's about responsibility.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Being responsible in the wild. So as you think about all this, here's a final thought to chew on. Consider the profound responsibility that comes with heading out to nature. It's not just about your own safety, is it? It's about respect for the land, for the wildlife, for other people who might be out there. How does being truly prepared, not just for the hunt itself, but for the unexpected, the things that can go wrong, how does that actually deepen your connection to the whole experience? Something to ponder until our next deep dive.